Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and we're going to start today's video with our old buddy Mike Novogratz, who is he wearing a kangaroo? Is that a kangaroo t-shirt that he's wearing? I don't know what's on his shirt. Anyway, watch this.
And Mike, what to say? What to say? Can you explain the move over the weekend? Obviously, we've come back now a bit. I don't know if we were discussing whether we call that a correction. Is 10% a correction in Bitcoin land?
You know, Bitcoin's trading like 100 vol instrument at this point. So yeah, 10%, I guess is within the one standard deviation up and down move these days. Listen, you know, the stimulus checks are coming. People are excited about that. A lot of the stimulus checks are going to young people who want to buy Bitcoin. But more importantly from that, in the last 3 months, we've had this secular shift where Bitcoin has become an asset. It's not maybe, it's not, it might be, it's now an asset class. Cryptocurrency is an asset class. Every bank is moving in, every tech company is moving in, and all portfolios are starting to move in. And so if you're not long, you're short. And that's just what you see on every dip. There are institutional buyers lined up to buy this thing.
So you think this weekend was institutions, not retail money?
No, this weekend was retail. What happens on the weekend is retail gets excited. You can tell because the cost of leverage goes way up on the weekend. And so the basis trading, different measures of how expensive it is to get leverage goes up. Then maybe one bad story, one nervous, moment, and everyone stops themselves back out. And so, from Friday afternoon, we're roughly 1% from where we were. And so if you're a normal market, you come in Monday morning, you roll up your sleeves, you're like, okay, nothing's changed. Bitcoin goes 24/7. And so for the Bitcoiners, it was a big weekend.
Okay, so next I wanted to show you this. This is, I said small world, and this is from an article that was tweeted by Axios, and just by pure coincidence, you're going to see a lot of coincidences here in the next 5 minutes. But by pure coincidence, Axios, which is the same company that has the HBO show that interviewed Brad Garlinghouse this past week, that video was going around, that same company just tweeted this out. New President Biden will tap Gene Sperling, Director of National Economic Council under Presidents Obama and Clinton, to oversee the implementation of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. And the guy that he appointed is Gene Sperling, who just happens to have been a Ripple Labs Board of Directors member. This was from January 2015. I don't think he's on the board anymore, but he was. Okay, who's Gene Sperling? He was in both the Obama and the Clinton administrations, but the most important part about Gene Sperling that I wanted to point out to you is this. From 2009 to 2011, he served as the counselor to Treasury Secretary Timothy Geithner. He advised on responding to the financial crisis, was a member of the Obama Auto Rescue Task Force. So the point is that he was right there during the financial crisis. And as I've pointed out 1,000 times, digital assets have everything to do with the financial crisis of 2008, 2009. I believe they were designed and created to be the solution to the liquidity problems that came out of that financial crisis. Now, this is an interesting article from 2011, Obama's Bailout Boys. And there's a section on Gene Sperling. It says the new head of the National Economic Council, before joining the administration in 2009, Sperling was a consultant to Goldman Sachs, which paid him almost $900,000 for advising it on philanthropic project in developing countries. Goldman received $10 billion. Excuse me, I'm sorry, my throat's... Okay. Goldman received $10 billion from the TARP program, which it paid back in 2009. Like JP Morgan, it benefited from a government guarantee of its debt, and in late 2008, it was hastily granted a commercial banking license, which made it Eligible for the Fed's extensive lending facilities, Goldman has publicly denied that it would have collapsed without government assistance, but most people on Wall Street don't believe it. Well, I wanted to show you this just to make you understand and reinforce what I've said 1,000 times. My father, the official father of the Digital Asset Investor channel, has always told me while I've been talking about all this that nothing happens without Goldman and JP Morgan. If they're not involved in it, it's not happening. Well, there's you a direct link from Goldman and someone who's way high up in the power structure of the United States. It just happened to be on Ripple's board, but that's just a coincidence. Here's a video of Gene Sperling right here at the University of Michigan Ford School.
It's a pleasure to welcome you all here to the Ford School and to welcome those of you who are watching online as well. I'm going to just say a little bit on format before I get to the introductions of our wonderful guest speaker.
Anyway, I'm not going to show you a lot of this video, but I am going to show you that that's Gene Sperling. But who's that? Well, that just happens to be Michael Barr. That's the same Michael Barr who almost became the comptroller of the currency this past week. This was a tweet I covered. Ripple Advisors, cryptocurrency connections kill appointment as bank regulator. Former Ripple Advisory Board member Michael Barr was too moderate and pro-crypto for progressives who blocked his nomination as comptroller of the currency. This is the announcement from back in 2015 where Michael S. Barr joins Ripple Labs. And this is all pure coincidence that this guy was up to become the new OCC chairman, and then this guy is going to head up the current events relief package, okay? And they were both on the board at either advisory board or board of directors at Ripple Labs. But those are all coincidences, so pay no attention to that. Now, you got to see this video right here. This guy right here is one of the few people I have seen come on CNBC and drop truth hand grenades that cannot and will not be addressed by Anthony Pompliano, as they aren't in this clip, because he can't. Listen.
I own Bitcoin. I think it's a brilliant technology. Doesn't mean it can be more effective.
Same here, by the way. I own Bitcoin. I think that Bitcoin has served a purpose, and I think that there's a great possibility that Bitcoin will be allowed to be that store of value. But that's where the truth ends with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to change the financial world, and these guys know it. I don't understand why they can't parse out and tell the truth, and tell the truth about what it is and tell the truth about what it isn't, but they refuse to. So here you go. And look at the title here. It says, "Is crypto killing the climate?"
And what you just stated was a bunch of opinions. You don't actually know. I don't actually know where all of these mines are located. And yeah, you're right. They're going to go to wherever they can get the cheapest energy, or they can steal energy, which is a big part of it as well. People are, figuring out ways to hijack off of the grid whatever energy they can find. There's no reason to not optimize it. We should optimize it. But here's the classic playbook of any pump like person, which is you attack Bill Gates and say he's washed up or whatever. Bill Gates is one of the greatest, technologists of all time, all due respect, certainly going to contribute more to the planet than you ever will, Pomp. And he deserves our respect. And he does have the right opinion, which is if this can be cleaned up, it should be cleaned up. There's no reason to not make anything more energy efficient. And if this is if crypto is in fact going to become the new standard, why not start that process right now?
Interesting choice of words, the new standard, by the way.
There are plenty of cryptocurrencies that don't mine, correct, Pomp?
Okay, that's the first time he asked Pomp the question. There are many cryptocurrencies that don't mine. In other words, Bitcoin's a disaster for the climate. This is the first time Pomp avoids the question.
Listen, I own more Bitcoin than Bill Gates, so I think I'm going
to
to be
Hold on, I just asked you. I didn't ask you to character assassinate Bill Gates. We get it. You're a genius. Bill Gates is an idiot. What I asked you was, are there other cryptocurrencies that don't require the same energy consumption and don't mine the coins? Yes.
That's the second time Pomp's going to avoid the question.
Oh.
You're missing the point. It's like on a relative basis.
There you go. Can't even answer the question. It's so funny.
Well, if you allow me to answer the question, if I want to compare total energy consumption, then the U.S. banking system and the U.S. dollar is the most wasteful energy consumption we have. That would be a ridiculous argument in your opinion. What ends up happening is 74%. Fidelity, CoinShares, a number of organizations have done large-scale studies. You can use Google, just go Google it. 74% or more of all energy consumption in Bitcoin mining is renewable power. Literally, Bitcoin mining is cleaner consumption of power than the US dollar. I don't see anyone here saying that we should go stop using the US dollar because it consumes so much power and is dirty power.
So this is the third time. See, Pump's avoiding the question. He doesn't want to acknowledge that there are other cryptocurrencies out there that do not waste power the way Bitcoin does, but he knows there are. He knows which one, but he can't say it because it kills the narrative that Bitcoin is this all-encompassing crypto or whatever.
Bitcoin is cleaner.
So he was about to ask him for the third time, and Pomp never answered it. Since he would not answer it, I will answer the question for you. Right here. This is one graphic, and I'll show you a couple others. But this is from Ripple. Ripple put this out yesterday. It's from this, just so you know, RippleX, at RippleXDev. How green is your currency? Moving money carries costs, and not just the fee on your transaction of value, your transaction or the value of your payment. And this is the clip. How green is your currency? They've got several graphics. Energy consumption of Portugal. They've got, and they compare Bitcoin side by side versus XRP and Ethereum. In all cases, XRP is a much more energy efficient. Gas consumption by the gallon. I mean, there is no comparison. Pomp knows all this, but he can't talk about it. And that is a red flag big time. And by the way, I showed you this from Bill Gates. Bill Gates on digital currency in 2016, credit Bank XRP. It was never going to be Bitcoin. Ripple is partnered with Bill and Melinda Gates. Susan Athey, Ripple board, long-term Microsoft consultant. Here's Bill Gates.
Believe it or not, of Bitcoin, because some people have said, hey, Bitcoin is the answer to those problems. Are you a believer?
Well, Bitcoin is exciting because it shows how cheap it can be. Bitcoin is better than currency in that you don't have to be physically in the same place. And of course, for large transactions, currency can get pretty inconvenient. The customers we're talking about aren't trying to be anonymous. You know, they're willing to be known. So the Bitcoin technology is key, and you could add to it, or you could build a similar technology where there's enough attribution that people feel comfortable. This has nothing to do with terrorism or any type of...
Bill Gates knows. Okay, so I wanted to show you this. The Indian government with regard to cryptocurrency is one of the great mysteries to me. These people are one of the last remaining governments that seem to think that they're going to try to ban crypto, or at least they want people to think that. Indian government officials give mixed signals over planned crypto legislation. An anonymous government official says the legislation is likely to make it through Prime Minister, or whatever her name's, majority-controlled parliament. And it said here that they were considering officials who was not named. The legislation is likely to make it through. It says the official said fines would be issued for breaking the law after 6-month grace period to dispose of crypto assets. Like, they're going to make a blanket ban on crypto. We've been seeing this government go back and forth on this for years now. Well, here's a clip from the finance minister. Listen to this last half of this.
The Supreme Court had commented on this cryptocurrency. Whilst we are very clear that the Reserve Bank may take a call on an official cryptocurrency or anything of that kind, but from our side, we are very clear that we are not shutting all options off. We will allow a certain amount of a window for people to use, so that experiments in the blockchain, the Bitcoin, or whatever you may want to call it, the cryptocurrency experiments and fintech, which depend on such experiments, will have that window available for them. We are not going to shut it off all. But yet, what kind of a formulation, even for a crypto, will have to be the content of the cabinet note, which...
It's like they're going to let you experiment with it for a little while is the way they act. Now, I do not know what this was about, But this was a Yoshitaka Katal, CEO of SBI Holdings, who's on Ripple's board, tweeted this. Ripple CEO XRP Predicament can coexist with central bank currency, Nikkei Financial. There's always something lost in translation from Japan there, so I'm not sure exactly what they mean here, but I'm sure we'll find out. Now, this was I saw this Steve Goldbronson tweet. I do not know if Bob Way has been listening to everybody talking about Alice and Bob, and I don't know if he changed this recently. It may have been on there all along. I don't remember, or I just didn't see it. But it says, I've been talking about Alice and Bob and how that example seems to be used all the way from R3 to Ripple to Gary Gensler to Facebook's Diem description of Diem coin. It's always Alice and Bob, and I know that this is a common thing in, quote, crypto, but the interesting thing was when Gary Gensler talked about Alice and Bob, he was using a source that linked it straight to Ripple and to R3, and that I find fascinating. And then the other thing I find fascinating is when David Schwartz was talking about this in a video I showed you the other day, he specifically said that that's what we use Bob Way. Now, they could have been using Bob Way as like hey, this Alice and Bob thing's always been around, and so you're the Bob now, and that may be where that took off. But I've looked around, and the main place where I see Alice and Bob with regards to crypto being discussed is in close to Ripple and all these people who always seem to point back to Ripple, and that's why I find it interesting. But Bob Way on his LinkedIn page, it says, when Alice sends money to Bob, I'm that Bob. I like that. I'm that Bob. So that's funny. Jonathan D sent me this. This is Dilip Rao. For those of you that were around back in 2018, there was a tweet where he had replied to this tweet right here. And he said, idle speculation, cool your jets. And cool your jets became a whole thing. Well, now he's doing what Jack Dorsey from Twitter did, and he's turning that tweet into an NFT. And in my opinion, what makes an NFT such as this valuable is when it comes directly from the person who tweeted it, because then you can say, okay, as long as you've got a chain that shows how that person, the originator of the tweet, then you can see, okay, well, that's the tweet. Now you can turn it into an NFT. Here's where he's doing this. And you can bid on it right now. This is a place that you can link to your Twitter account. It's the first time I've seen it. It's v.cent, cent.co. And you can link your Twitter account and then link your Ethereum wallet, and then you can take any of your tweets, is my understanding, and you can turn them into NFTs. I plan on trying to do this myself just to play with it. Okay. And then speaking of NFTs, this is, I told you the other day about CNBC. They created their own NFT. They're as big into NFT as they are into Bitcoin. So watch what they were talking about the other day with the NFT that they created.
I like to take advantage of a lot of this type of stuff. So I don't know where the bidding should start on this, but this is available starting now.
Okay, so I'm not going to show you any more of that, but that's what they did. Now, I wanted to show you this because there's a parallel here. Watch this. This is talking about email. This is the Internet of Information. We're now in the Internet of Value. Listen to what she says about email back in 1995.
Imagine your computer linked up to millions of other computers all over the globe, all gathering and feeding information. This is the world of the internet. About half of all internet use is for email. But what exactly is it? In simple terms, email or electronic mail is just two computers talking to each other down a telephone line. And for that, you need one of these, a modem. This converts the computer's digital chatter into an audible signal. But you still need to send your message to a post office, as it were. Only in this case, it's your local service provider. I'm using a bit of communication software as well as my modem, and just to check that it's all up and running, I'll just go into it now. Everything seems to be okay. And so now I'm free to fire up my email program.
See, so that's when in fact, 1995, I was in college. I was at Auburn University, and I remember them telling me at that time that I could get an email address. And I remember my roommates and I going, why do I need one of those? So, but my point in showing you this is that now we are at the internet of value. And getting one of these .crypto domains is very similar to what email addresses were back then. But now, with these domains, you can actually have a domain and send money that comes out in multiple currencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. Once you get one of these .cryptos, you can also build decentralized websites. So, Internet of Information, Internet of Value. This week, today, I think tomorrow actually, they're still selling these premium domains. Tomorrow they're going to start the theme of real estate. They're going to release for sale the real estate domain names. So it could be realestate.crypto. I don't know what they're going to be, but the link's in the top of the description of this video. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that we are now in the internet of value. Thank you for listening.